Global markets are set to open firmer today, with the JSE tracking stronger European and Asian stocks. But Brent crude futures steadied above $83 per barrel this morning, as the prospect of extended output cuts from OPEC Plus could provide some support to oil prices. And this is important for our own fuel prices here in South Africa as well. Simon Brown is the founder of JUSTONELAP and joins us now. Simon, good morning. Thanks as always for your time. What's driving markets today, especially on the oil and commodities front?
Morning, absolutely. We've got commodities edging higher, but oil, as you say, I mean, it's above 83.54, but that in itself is actually, it's well down on the 90 plus that we were seeing last month. Market will absolutely take that. We also got a stronger rand, 18.47 against the dollar, 23.21 against sterling, 19.88 against the euro. Market itself about 2/3% higher. That's been driven by resources up 1.5%. They're liking those commodity moves. Industrials up almost 0.5%. Financials 1/3% higher. And on those commodities, gold higher, $2,325.20. As I said, Brent at 83.54. And PGM's also a little bit green, 954.5 for palladium, platinum at $968 per ounce.
Let's talk about Redefine Properties. They run a host of retail and industrial properties, and they've paid out a dividend for the 6 months ending in December, but they are still concerned about the impact that high inflation will have on their business, among other things. Just share with us their story.
Yeah, lots of moving parts. As you mentioned, a dividend coming through. That's really good. Office portfolio still struggling. They're getting negative rental reversions. What that basically means is when they sign a new lease, they get a lower price than what their previous lease had been. That's never good. And the inflation is a struggle for them, but they've got other struggles as well. I mean, administrated prices in terms of electricity and water and municipal rates have all been going up ahead of inflation. Of course, high interest rates, their loan to value is just over 42%, which means they've got a fair amount of debt and it's expensive to service that debt. But they are a giant. Value of the portfolio just crossed 100 billion rand. But they are having, it's tough being a property company at this point in time, and particularly if you've got a lot of office exposure.
And next bad news, the hopes of Europe's biggest bank, this is BNP Paribas, to open a fully fledged commercial bank here in South Africa. Those hopes are now over after their banking license was withdrawn by the Reserve Bank's Prudential Authority. And this is 12 years after opening an office in South Africa. Tell us more.
We've seen this, and we've seen it from a lot of global banks, French banks in particular, but broadly global banks. And if we go back to the sort of early 2010s up until around 2015, there was a lot of thought around, hang on, Africa's an interesting market. These global banks were moving in, opening offices, not always necessarily in the traditional full service banking we get from our big banks and Capitec with all the branches, but certainly targeting corporates, targeting high net individuals, structured products and the like. And we've seen a general pullback from these global banks. BNP Paribas, I think it was 2021, announced that globally their strategy looking at opening African offices, they were going to reverse that. And we're seeing a sort of almost going back to their core markets, which in most of these banks is going to be Western Europe.
And this next one certainly is chilling. Findings from an independent survey of technology professionals in mid-sized companies in South Africa made this finding: 69% of these organizations were hit by ransomware in the past year. So cybersecurity is still a big issue, with money the main demand from hackers.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I often think that, I mean, I'm not saying companies don't take cybersecurity seriously. It is difficult. It is costly. It's a continual ongoing battle. It's not like you can ever say, we are now safe. As soon as you're safe, there's a new attack vector that comes through. But this whole challenge here is that it's too easy to get in. You can use a phishing attack. You can use just emails. You don't necessarily need to hack into a system, and then you essentially get it locked down. And what we do see in global trends is a lot of companies then opt to pay the cyber attackers to get their services back, to get their companies back operating. But this then makes it profitable for the hackers, and they continue therefore doing it. And it certainly is a huge threat to anyone, any company with an online presence, and we all have some level of online presence.
Got to be more and more careful. Simon Brown, thank you very much.